was really shocked that you were so brave to tell the story. For example, when you said that maybe it's a good idea to kill your partner.
The thing is, it's true though, you know, and that is actually what I felt. When I think about the people who read Eat, Pray, Love, that was 20 years ago. They have also had 20 years of experiences since then. You know, their own divorces, their own diseases, their own bankruptcies.
The whole huge amount of money that you've earned after your book, Eat, Pray, Love. What did you do with all that money?
Well, honey, I gave a lot of it away.
Hello, and thank you very much for being with us today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
You have to know that for a lot of people, at least here in Romania, you are the author of the wonderful book, Eat, Pray, Love, which afterwards turned into the famous movie with Julia Roberts. So how would you describe for them your new book, All the Way to the River? Are we thinking about, I don't know, mainly a love story, a story of loss, a story of transformation? How would you describe it?
Those are all good. Those are all good descriptions. I'm going to let you describe it. No, it's a true story about my love affair with the artist and filmmaker Rhea Elias, who was my best friend, and then very slowly over the years we fell in love, and we finally came together at the very end of her life after she had been given a cancer diagnosis to only live 6 months. And we went on quite a journey together in a very short amount of time, a journey of love, a journey of difficulty, of pain, grief, loss, excitement, addiction. And the book is about that journey and also about my recovery in the years after her death from that experience.
I would say that the book reveals for sure the most intimate chapters of your life. So I would like to know what made you decide to tell this story?
Yeah, what comes to mind as an answer is the story decided that I had to tell it. I think more than me deciding that I wanted to. I actually didn't want to tell the story. And in the years immediately after Rhea died, I tried very hard not to tell the story. I wrote several other books and I turned my attention to other things. I tried to write the book as a work of fiction so that I wouldn't have to go into the darkness that was necessary to tell it. But the story wouldn't leave me alone. And ultimately, 7 years after she was gone, I could just feel that there was no way to avoid telling this story and writing this book. Also, she would have wanted me to do it. Rhea was always pushing me to tell the truth and to be more courageous and to be more forceful with the true stories in the world. And so I kind of had
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. You have to be very courageous to say something like this and to tell stories like this. So I wanted to know, was it difficult to expose yourself so openly to the public?
I don't really mind exposing myself to the public. There's a good quote you can just put on the internet.
Yeah,
I don't mind
exactly.
exposing myself, but I don't. I mean, I've lived my life very openly, and I have a very trusting and open relationship with my readers. My inclination is always to be open because it's actually the easier way to live, I think. Um, the difficulty was not about exposure. It was about what I was going to have to revisit in order to write the book. Some of the things that happened at the end of Rhea's life were the most difficult things I have ever experienced. And I didn't want to go back. It's like, I'm sure you understand this. I'm sure everybody can understand this. We have chapters in our life that feel like hell, and you don't
You
want to go
just want
back.
to forget.
You don't want to go back and be a tourist in hell, right? Like it's like I already walked through hell. I'm finished with hell. I don't want to go back. But sometimes the only way to process those experiences is to go back. And so that's what I was afraid of. It wasn't about being exposed. It was about having to feel the feelings that I would need to feel to remember those occasions.
But was there any part of the story, for example, that you hesitated to include? I mean, even no.
No, once I made the decision to do it, it really felt like actually a very simple assignment. And I wondered why it took me 7 years to do it. But the assignment was tell the truth, tell the entire truth, and don't try to protect yourself or Rhea in the telling of that truth. Don't try to protect your dignity. Just do it. Just put it out there. Um, and
Because,
so
for example, I
that's
was
what I
really
decided to
shocked.
do.
I was really shocked that you were so brave to tell the story. For example, when you said that maybe it's a good idea to kill your partner uh, in the moment that you are living all that hell that you're talking about. So I don't know if I would have this courage to tell this publicly, even if I would feel like this in the moment.
Well, the thing is, it's true though,
Yeah.
and that is actually what I felt, and I needed to put that in the book because, first of all, it was true. It's what happened, and and also because there was no way to honestly talk about the level of darkness that we got to in our relationship, and I actually think there was no way to honestly talk about what addiction does to people than to express that level that I got to, where her relapse into drug addiction, I felt like was destroying me so much that the only solution I could come up with was one of us has to die. Either I have to die or she has to die. I cannot live anymore in this, which actually was also true. I couldn't live anymore in that, and I had to get out of the situation. But it didn't seem fair to write about Rhea's drug addiction and not write about my darkness
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, and also it's been really funny. I mean, I think of myself as a very compassionate and loving and open person, but I got to a point where murder seemed like a very good idea, right? Like I got to that point, this like person who genuinely loves people and wants to be kind to people and compassionate to people. That's how bad it got for me. But here's what I think is really interesting. In the months since the book was published, that seems to be the thing that everybody is focusing on so much as being very shocking. And honestly, my reaction to that is, you never wanted to kill your partner? Like,
No, no, the question is you never wanted to say this openly.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm not the really like this is like, and am I really the only person who ever had this thought? Or so that surprises me. It doesn't surprise me that I had that. It surprises me that people are like, "Oh my God, it's so horrifying," and I'm like, "Really? Nobody else ever had this thought?"
But because we're talking about your readers, do you think that your readers were ready for this kind of honesty and all the topics that you were talking in this book about?
Absolutely. And here's why, because this is also their life. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Whenever people talk about you're exposing so much, it's like, no, I'm talking about what life is like at times. And my readers tend to be at this point women in their 50s. And at this point, you can't,
They all want to kill somebody.
you all want to kill at least one person. And also, like, we've all been heartbroken. We've all been ashamed. We've all lost our dignity. We've all begged people not to leave us. We've all felt like we were going to die because somebody didn't love us. We all felt like we wanted to kill somebody. Like, you cannot have reached an age in your 50s as a woman where you have not been through the things that are in this book. Maybe not exactly, but certainly. And so when I think about the people who read Eat, Pray, Love, that was 20 years ago. They have also had 20 years of experiences since then. Their own divorces, their own diseases, their own bankruptcies, their own addictions. Like, we're all here having this experience in what I call Earth School, right? Like, it's happening to all of us. I'm not the only person who has had experiences where you wake up in the morning and you're like, how did I get here? And how do I get out? And so my readers have been very warm and receptive to this book because it's also their life.
Exactly. It's like you're going with them on the same road in the same time. It's like a companion for you.
Exactly.
Tell me something. What did that love teach you about yourself?
Oh, that's such a good question. Uh, Rhea. I'm still processing having survived Rhea school. Um, it taught me, what did it teach me ultimately? It showed me that I still have this fantasy that somebody is going to save me, and that particularly that a love story is going to save me. Now, this is a fantasy that girls and women are taught from the very earliest age of our life. This is what a woman's story looks like in most of the stories that we absorbed as children, as young adults. If you're attractive enough, if you're beautiful enough, if you're good enough, if you're loving enough, somebody's going to come and see you and they're going to
Choose
like
you.
they're going to choose you, which is extremely important, and that and you're going to be able to pour your entire life into their life, and in return, they're going to give you enough love that you're going to be okay, right? Like that's the exchange that and I could see what I learned in that was, wow, I was almost 50 years old and I still had that dream, right? I still had that dream that the love of another person is going to be the thing that saves me from the difficulty of life and from my trauma and from my pain. And what I learned was even that, even the love of the person who loved me the most and who I loved the most was not going to save me from taking responsibility for my own life, right? And taking responsibility for being the advocate, the friend, and the partner to myself, which I've spent a lot of my life trying not to do. I've spent a lot of my life trying to find somebody else who will take that responsibility for me because I don't want to be the one to take care of me. I want you to take care of me, right? Like that's always been the deal. And by the end of Rhea's life, it was so clear that wow, like, if I don't take care of me, nobody's going to have me ultimately. Because even somebody who really, really, really loves you might die, and then where are you? Like, if I'm not taking care of me, nobody is home.
So you do think that, for example, the role of Raya, looking back now, it was like a personal awakening for you?
Absolutely. And I feel like that was her job in my destiny. And she did that job very well, right? She did it very, very, very well because sometimes, no, I'm going to take out sometimes, always, we only awaken with a shock to the system,
That
right?
was quite a shock.
And that was quite a shock. And we have all had those shocks. And and I do believe that was her job. And I do believe that it's my job to stay awake, having been shocked awake, to stay awake and to make sure that no matter how much I ever love somebody again, that I never abandon myself into another person or give that other person the responsibility of being the caretaker of my life, of my heart. My heart is my job.
You're introducing yourself from the first beginning of the book as a sex, love, and romance addict. When love, sex, and romance are considered drugs?
Well, it's a really simple way to answer that, at least in my life. So if we take the example of drug addiction and alcoholism, when people enter into the 12-step recovery process, the very first step says we admitted that we were powerless over alcohol, for instance. That's step one in the 12 steps. Admitted that we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. So when people talk about step one, they often focus on the first part of that, right? I was powerless over alcohol, maybe, maybe not. The second part of that is the most important thing. Has your life become unmanageable? And that's where addiction is existing. And it doesn't have to be drug addiction or alcohol addiction. It can be addiction to a person. It can be addiction to shopping. It can be addiction to food. It can be addiction to gambling, pornography. There are all sorts of ways that people try to either get high or get numb. And over time, true addiction makes your life unmanageable. You cannot function. So what has happened to me multiple times in my life is my life has become unmanageable because of the intensity of the relationships that I'm in and the ways that I have abandoned my own self-care and lost myself. So where is that line?
We don't
Everybody has
know.
to find where's the line between a casual drinker, a heavy drinker, a problem drinker, and an alcoholic? I don't know, but eventually, if you're an alcoholic in recovery, you admit my life has become unmanageable. And so this book is about a period of my life where my addiction to love and to intimacy created a circumstance where my life became unmanageable to the point where I considered murdering somebody. That's pretty much the definition of unmanageable.
Because I was thinking that we should, I don't know, just give up passion and fullness to be sure that we're not going to be addicted to the person that we love.
Oh my God, I don't know if you should, but I certainly seem to be doing better in the last 7 years since I put that aside. Like I would never advise anybody else to do anything. But for me personally, at this moment in my life, and remember, I'm almost 60, there has been a great opening that has come into my life from taking that dream that someday somebody's going to fix me and putting that dream aside the way that somebody who is addicted to drugs might put those drugs away and just say like, "Hey, maybe this isn't helping me. Maybe this dream isn't helping me." So I don't know what my future holds, but for the last few years, I've been in the most serene, creative, dignified, connected to myself, connected to the world, connected to my work, connected to my family, connected to my friends. So right now, just for today, that's working for me. But I would never tell anybody else what they should do with their life.
But do you feel like you're a different person today than the one readers met years ago?
No, I feel like I'm a healthier version of the same person.
Mm.
There are people who have read All the Way to the River and they've said things like, well, wow, this is definitely not Eat, Pray, Love. And I want to say to them, go back and read Eat, Pray, Love.
Mm.
You know, like Eat, Pray, Love started in an extremely dark place. The first few chapters of Eat, Pray, Love were me in suicidal despair over a divorce and a relationship ending. And and All the Way to the River brings me right back to that same bathroom floor, crying. Like the same problems were there. I actually quote Eat, Pray, Love in All the Way to the River, where back then, 20 years ago, I was using the language of addiction to talk about my dysfunctional relationships. I just didn't know I was literally an addict. I thought I was just using the language like a metaphor.
Mm.
So I'm the same person. You know, I have the same characteristics, I have the same talents, I have the same assets, and I have the same difficulties. The only difference now is that I have a program, like a 12-step recovery addiction program that I live in that so far has been keeping me safe and keeping other people safe too, because this doesn't work for anybody. Like the way that I engage with relationships doesn't work for them either. Like, trust me, it's so no, I'm absolutely the same person. But I'm a much healthier version of that person.
But do you think you're a better person along your love stories?
That I'm a better person?
If you were a better person along your love stories, when you're in love, do you feel like you're a better person in that moment?
Oh, no, I feel like I'm a better is a hard thing to describe because that implies a kind of moral code, I think. Here's what I think. When I'm involved in my love stories, I am a more activated person. So that means my energy levels are very influenced by what's happening in the relationship. So I might be a much more excited person. I might be a much more passionate person. I might be a much more sad person. Might be a much more angry person. I might be a much more depressed person. I would say when I'm in my love relationships with people in the past, I'm just more of everything because my nervous system becomes so activated by what's happening between me and the person, which means that I'm not capable in my relationships of maintaining a stable nervous system. I'm absolutely in the command of what's happening. So if we're having a great day and it's exciting and we're wonderful, then I'm a passionate, excited,
Great.
wonderful. If I go to sleep next to that person and they forget to tell me I love you before we go to bed, I'm destroyed. If they give attention to somebody else, I'm enraged. I mean, it's really unmanageable. It's really like I'm riding this roller coaster of emotions and just not able to keep myself well and regulated. So I wouldn't say that I'm a better person. I would just say that I'm a little too much more of everything.
I would love if you can just tell for our viewers before they're going to read the book, of course. I was really, I don't know, sensitive to the story that you said about what you did with the whole huge amount of money that you've earned after your book, Eat, Pray, Love. So if you just tell them, what did you do with all that money?
Well, honey, I gave it a lot of it away. And I gave a lot of it away to good causes and to good charities and to good people. And I gave a lot of it away to people that I didn't know. And I gave a lot of it away to people who I just wanted to love me. And I thought that if I bought them presents and gave them cars and bought them houses, that maybe they would love me more. So I behaved in ways with that money that is very much in alignment with the ways that I have always behaved with people. Um, it was quite a ride, I have to say, and I would not call it sober the way that I behaved with that money. And I have my hand on my heart while I'm talking about it because I have so much affection for my 35-year-old self. There was nothing in my life ever up until that point that was going to prepare me for having millions of dollars. I did not grow up in a situation that would train me to know what to do with millions of dollars. And I also was so desperate to be loved that the money became a tool that I could use to get people to like me
How
and
do you know? How do you know that it was because of this? Because I found it wonderful. I mean, this is something great. Somebody to earn all this money and think just to go in the street and see somebody and say, "What would you like? I would like to have a house. Let's take. Let's."
oh my God, it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
I mean, this is.
It was
I
wonderful. It
yeah.
was wonderful. But here's my suggestion. Try it.
I can't.
Try it.
I mean,
Because what's going to happen is that
yeah.
it's so much fun at first. And
Okay.
and it was wonderful, and the people were happy, and I was happy, and my heart was full. And then the complications came. And the
What?
complications came like now the person comes back to me
Okay.
a year later,
Okay.
and all that money that I gave them is gone, and they need more. And I give them more. And then they come back 6 months later, and now they need more. And I don't give them no more, and now they hate me,
Okay.
right? And now like, and or I hate them, or now I cross the street when I see them coming in because I'm like, oh my God, what do they need now, right? Or like, I bought them a house, and now they're not taking care of the house, and now the taxes are due on the house, and they haven't paid the taxes, but I've had it in my name, and now I have. Trust me, it gets crazy, and it's also beautiful. And there are some parts of it. I mean, I had a friend who was able to adopt a child because I was able to give them money to
You
adopt a child. It
see?
was wonderful. Like there were so many beautiful things that were able to happen. And like so much of my life, there was a craziness to it. There was a mania, right? And so much of for me, what it means to learn how to be something that we call emotionally sober is to be able to slow down, slow down, slow down. Maybe talk to somebody before you do that. Maybe ask an older person if that's a good idea. But I've always been somebody who's extremely impulsive, and I love it because so many of my impulses have brought a beautiful life to myself, but also I would like there to be fewer casualties of my impulses as I get older because I truly don't want to cause harm to myself or to other people. So I'm learning how to be just a little more sober, a little more careful, a little more respectful, and a little less crazy.
Tell me, after such a deeply personal memoir, do you imagine your next book returning to fiction, or are you going to continue your personal exploration?
Well, I'm very happy to report that there's nothing going on in my life right now that is dramatic enough to warrant the writing of another memoir. So that's good news for me, and that means that I can return to writing fiction.
What are your plans after your tour releasing the book? Are you learning Spanish?
Yes, I've been learning Spanish. I live in Costa Rica part of the year, and so I've been working on my Spanish. And but actually, I'm taking a break. Actually, starting in 4 days from here, I have one more event that I'm doing in Amsterdam, and then I'm going back home. And for the very first time in my life, I'm going to take a few months of not working, not writing, not teaching, not touring, not traveling, And I have a lot of just sort of recovering to do. I want to go for a lot of long walks. I want to go swimming. I want to be with my dog.
That's good. You could come in Transylvania. You should visit Romania. That's nice.
If I wasn't about to go on vacation on break, I will come next time. How about that?
That's good. That's a good plan. Tell me something. Did your spiritual beliefs change after the experiences described in this book?
Yes, they did. They became more important. And I actually feel like, in a way, the drama and the trauma that I went through during that time broke down the doors of separation between me and what I would call God, or what I would call my spirituality. I got to a place so desperate that I really had no choice but to, well, I guess I had choices, but my personal spirit felt that it had no choice but to just surrender and to just say, okay, that's it. I'm not managing my life anymore. I have a friend who has a tattoo on her hand. It's an arrow that points up and it says, "Here, God, you do it." And whenever she just gets overwhelmed, she just goes like this. Just here, you do it. You do it. I can't do it. And so where I think before I was always very interested in spirituality, and I always believed in a kind of God, not the God that I was taught and not the God that I was raised with, but the God that I could feel. I don't think I trusted that anything was there to help me. And now I feel that that's the only way that I can make it through the world, is with reliance upon an intelligence greater than mine. Yeah.
Please, could you finish? Could you please finish this sentence for me? Now I need 30 seconds and God for.
Now I need 30 seconds and God for serenity.
When readers close the last page of this book, what would you hope they will take with them in their own lives?
I hope that they will love themselves more. I hope that they will feel a sense of innocence, because one of the words that I use in the book a lot is innocence. There's people don't often talk about innocence in connection with addiction, because addiction causes people to behave in ways that do not appear to be innocent. But underneath all of the compulsion and the addiction and the obsession, there's an innocent spirit of somebody who's just trying to survive the world and just trying to survive their own mind. And when I get quiet enough and connected enough to myself, I can see my own innocence. That's why I have my hand on my heart whenever I talk about the crazy things I've done in the past. I'm like, oh, sweetheart, such a good guess. You were trying so hard. But I also have my hand on my heart to connect to everybody. Because here we are in Earth School on this planet, these souls dropped into these bodies, dropped into these families, dropped into these cultures and these dilemmas and these difficulties. And nobody knows what they're doing, like really, nobody knows. So there's a deep, deep, deep innocence that I can look at people when I'm very connected to my own soul. I can look at people doing absolutely terrible things, absolutely wild things, absolutely insane things, and I can feel inside of there's a person who's just thinks that's a good idea, and I can feel a connection and a love to them. So my hope is that that's what people will feel at the end of the book, is a deeper sense of love toward themselves.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. And thank you very much for this book.
Thank you so much for your really brilliant questions. I had a good time talking to you.
I hope to see you in Romania one day.
I'm going to take that very seriously. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.